Play I want it, you know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic, keep them out your face, no way, you don't want it, yeah. Don't try to drain my energy, the enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me, I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity. Come on, we can fight this, freedom is priceless. Spread just like a virus, living in a crisis. Do you feel courageous? Do you seek greatness? Trust me, you can take it, go on and take your aim, yeah. Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the gas, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grieving. Put your foot on the gas, no, never stop competing, yeah.
We're here.
Oh, you turned that off on me.
That was quicker than I thought, too. It got me by surprise. Welcome, Ripper. I am so happy to see you. I am so lucky to have you here. I've waited for this for years. I'm not lying.
For years?
Yes, years. You know, I started watching you first in Making a Murderer. And
really?
Yes, I just loved the way you would well, look, let's put it this way. Your Ken Kratz thing, nobody beats that. Okay.
The panty dropper one?
Yeah. Nobody gets that. Okay. How about your Pam of God? Okay. I mean, I could list goes on and on. I mean, for things you've done. Well, the police, you know, your interview with Kratz. You know, I mean, the list goes on. And you've done marvelous things with your channel since then. Your Highland Park coverage is excellent. I really got into that with you. There's so many. Well, Tiger King. I mean, you're the Lewis spokesperson. You're very good for the family. You really look out for the family. See, that's the difference, people. Somebody who really cares about people and sticks their own neck out there, because he's been a victim of drama and ridicule and tons of other things that we all know happens when somebody's doing something good. They just want to knock you down. But Ripper has sustained that, and he is a genuine person, and I just love him. I do. I don't know what else to say. I admire the way he does things. His live streams are always exciting because he has this way of teasing you with certain things. You know, like, well, we'll just have to wait and see. There might be, or it could be, you know, just leave them hanging, you know. So how did you get started? Was it Making a Murder, or was there things beyond that? Because I mean, we don't have to go about your personal business. You can keep your anonymity or for what you are and who you are. Take a drink.
Well, first off, thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure.
I am your #1 fan. I don't care what anybody says. They're not a bigger fan than I am.
Thank you. And
I'm totally serious. And I don't know how I'm going to get down off this big pedestal that you just put me on. But, there's a lot of people out there like us that do things for other people because it's the right thing to do. And sometimes people need help and they don't have the money to get help.
That's right.
So it's up to people like us to try and help other people. So how did I get started in the, well, let me tell you how my YouTube channel got started. If you go way back to the beginning, there's videos of me playing Clash of Clans. And I had a clan. Well, it wasn't my clan to begin with.
That was a freaky looking Johnny back then.
With my Don King hairstyle.
Yep.
Yes, I still have that hat, by the way. It's a stocking cap. But I started playing this game, and I started getting really competitive in it. And there were people on the team or the clan that didn't understand how to do certain attacks. So I decided that I would do these attacks the correct way and make instructional videos so that my teammates could see how to do it. And that's how the channel got started. So if you
So
go
you
way
were a
back,
gamer. A gamer.
yes, and I still am. I still game more than I
Yeah,
should.
you're the slice master.
No, I never did slice. Um, I might hurt my shoulder doing
Yeah.
that. I have played it, but
I say that
it,
jokingly because of Carol.
it wasn't. Yes, it wasn't something that there wasn't enough of a challenge to that app.
Yeah.
I like the ones where there's a lot of strategy involved and you have to study the game to figure out how to
Solve a
beat it or
problem.
your opponent.
Yeah.
So
Solve
that's how my
something.
YouTube
Yeah.
channel got started, was just making videos for my teammates. And then after I watched Making a Murderer and heard that crazy voice in the background, I was like, I remember I told my wife, Mrs. Ripper, I was like, I wonder how many people have heard that. And I wonder if I can just put a video on my YouTube channel and put it out there. And I did. And I had no idea that I would get sucked into that community like I did, to where I was taking bones and having these
Big
bonfire
fires.
experiments and putting bones in to see if they would look the same. And there was so much more I wanted to do, but I didn't. I mean, I wanted to get a burn barrel and be whatever it was, 165 yards away or however far, and film what the burn barrel looked like and what kind of glow it would put off. That's one that Richard really wanted me to do,
Right.
burn barrel from however many feet. And I talked to Allie, and we were trying to figure out the exact time and the date so we would know right where the sun was.
Weather.
We wanted
Down
to
precise.
Yes.
Very precise.
Yeah. But I never did do that one, but that's one I wish I would have done because I think it would have been interesting. So, I mean, that's how the channel got started. And I will tell you, one of the reasons I'm so interested in this wrongful conviction stuff is I had an uncle, and anyone can look him up. His name's Harold Ed Burnett. And when I was young, he murdered someone. And at 2 or 3 in the morning, I might have been 11 or 12, but maybe 13. And I grew up in the country when I was real little. So I knew how to drive vehicles at like 5 or 6 years old. But around 2, 3, or 4 o'clock in the morning, my uncle shows up at my grandmother's house, which is where I lived at the time. And he came in and had me drive him around Pawhuska, Oklahoma. And at some point, we're on all these backcountry roads. He's just having me drive everywhere. At some point, he has me stop the car on this bridge, and he gets out and he goes in the trunk and he pulls out this rifle and throws it over the side of the bridge. A few days after that, I don't know if it's 3 days, 4, could have been a week. I didn't know at the time, but the feds came by because the murder happened on the Osage Indian Reservation. The feds came by, and I heard him asking my grandmother questions about, where was Ed and blah, blah, blah. They never asked me any questions, and I was in another room. But long story short, he got charged with murder. And during the trial, which we went to as kids, I was in junior high at the time, the feds pulled out the murder weapon, or what was supposed to be the murder weapon. But it wasn't the same gun that he took out of the trunk and threw into the creek. So,
That's crazy.
Now he did it. He did the crime though. So, they knew he did it. And it probably wasn't the first one he had ever done either.
Ooh.
He had done it, and the feds were going to make sure they convicted him however they needed to. But I know for a fact that the gun that they presented
wasn't it.
I know for a fact that was not the gun. But that's a moment I'll never forget. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm looking around, I'm like, that's not the gun. But I didn't know who to tell. I mean, I could have, I guess, went to his attorney, but when you're like 12,
Yeah.
you don't think of that. Or I could have been 13, but yeah. So I've always been interested in the wrongful conviction thing because I saw firsthand how some of these things work. And
Yep.
with like Stephen Avery, law enforcement, they knew for a fact that he did it and they didn't care. They were just going to put whatever they could together to prove to the people that he did it. But as we know, he didn't do it. He couldn't have done it.
Right.
It's physically impossible for him to have committed that crime.
Oh,
He
yeah.
could not have done it.
Nope.
But, so that's why I like the wrongful conviction stuff. And then, of course, I've been through the ringer myself with the justice system. So I'm fascinated by the system and how it doesn't work, but sometimes it does work.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it takes a lot of people to get together to make it work.
Yep.
Exactly. That's how I got started. It started with gaming, and then I saw that documentary, and
that was
I was really upset after watching the documentary. Like a lot of people, I was mad because they set the guy up not once, but twice. And along the way, they took a young kid with them.
Yeah.
It's a travesty. It's horrible what they did.
Oh, you just spelled your drink. I just outed you on the drink spelling. Go right ahead.
I knew it. Let me go grab my rag.
I'll talk through it. But yeah, I feel exactly the same way he does. Of course, my husband was on the other side of the law and he was a murderer, and I'm glad they convicted him. I'm glad they did it the way they did it. Some people need to be in jail.
I almost said something earlier. I said, I'm going to bring an extra one in case I spill one. And I did. Oh my God.
You did.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Though.
Calm down now. I shouldn't be making you that nervous. No, I'm only kidding. I told my team, I said, I am so flippin' nervous. I don't even know why. I've done hundreds of these. Well, not hundreds, but I've done, like, that's how my channel started, was interviewing everybody who does research, because I figure everybody matters and they are so important to our community that I really wanted people to see who they were and the good things they do. Well, now that I'm over in the missing persons section, we've developed the real crime community, and because true crime's a joke over there, it's mostly drama and people dragging other creators, which to me is just drama. So we developed that, and you saying people's coming together and making noise. We've seen it happen in the missing persons. Our team has been responsible for bringing at least 4 people home and starting noise and getting some of these families, the police, to be on it, to look for their children, because they don't. If they're a teenager, they're a runaway, they're not important. As far as I'm concerned, and most of my team feels the same way, they're at higher risk because of trafficking. They're running away. How do we know what they're doing online and getting groomed? And I mean, the world is such a bad place nowadays. It isn't safe anywhere,
True. And if you're a kid and you do not have family members that are around you teaching you what to look out for, what's good and what's bad, when you don't have role models around you to say, hey, you shouldn't do that kind of stuff or this and that, it's real easy for a kid to get caught up in that stuff. And the next thing you know, they're gone, or they're being trafficked, and they have no idea. They don't even know they're being trafficked sometimes.
No, they get drugged up. I mean, first it's a big thing. Oh, I'm going to get out and be, because at, 15 and on up, you think the world, it's invincible and everything, and, you're going to be different. I mean, we all think that. And when my parents told me that, I thought, yeah, right, I'm different. Yeah, right. Okay. My kids said the same thing. Yeah, right. You're different. Sure. I see it through generations. So yes, I'm old, people. I am old, but we see that, and every generation thinks the same thing, that they're invincible and it's not going to be them. But the tactics that these predators use nowadays, it is high tech. It's in their faces, it's in their homes, and people need to be very on top of their kids for what they're doing so they do not get, trafficked or whatever. Whenever I got dirt on my face.
And it's so easy for them to have access to all these kids because of all
Yeah.
the social media, Instagram, TikTok, all of that
Mhm.
stuff. It's so easy to get in touch with these young
Right.
people. It's
And
pretty
people are
scary.
stalkers. They'll stalk you and you don't even know it. I mean, there are stalkers. They look at some kid and they think, oh, God, I have it. And next thing you know, they're stalking your house and taking the kid. I mean, it happens all the time. It's sad. It's really sad. And even look, I mean, we still is Highland getting any better since I Hitler is still there and I Hitler needs to leave? I say that, people, because there's a lady who said, I can't even quote her words, but anyway, she said Hitler was a great leader, and we all know that not to be true. And she should have been fired immediately, if you ask me. But we have no control over that.
I can't really talk much about that
Okay,
case right
okay,
now.
that's cool. Understand?
I will say that a lot of noise has been made and there is a lot of things happening. And I really appreciate the foul play team the other day spending 4 hours on that case, and that they didn't even finish everything. They said they're going to come back and continue
Good.
it.
Yep.
So I really appreciate them taking a look into this stuff. I'll just say
Here we go. Here's a teaser.
there's been so many times in working on different cases like Carol Baskin, all of the things that the researchers uncovered on that. And that's one thing. There were so many people finding information. It was just like every 5 minutes, my phone was going off with, look at this, look at this, look at this. But there were so many things in that I thought, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But compared to the case that you were talking about, the stuff up in Kansas, it's out of control. It's so bad. And that's it, there's change that needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, change needs to happen at that place, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
Well, to have racial discrimination at this day and age, I mean, honestly, are we moving forward in the world or what? Because it's absolutely disgusting what these young people of color have to deal with. I mean, I can't imagine, and I'll never imagine, because I am a fortunate white, I guess you say, because
It's sad.
It's very sad.
I was talking to someone the other day, a parent of a student somewhere, and I told them, I said, I hate to say it, but I mean, I've got it made. I'm a white person in America.
Yeah. It makes me feel bad, because I don't know that struggle and I want to be sympathetic to that. But if you're white and sympathetic to that, they get on you for that too. So, it's a no-win situation for a white person, honestly, when you're trying to help in that kind of situation,
Right. But you have to help. And
yeah. Oh, of course.
But I could never, and I've told many victims, and even it doesn't matter what color they are, but I can never feel how someone else feels, because like I have chronic pain, but when someone tells me about their chronic pain, I can never say, oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. See, I always say, put one toe in one shoe and see how it fits for you. That's my way of saying it. I'll never know unless you've been through that situation. Exactly. Like I did have a missing person, so I do know what it's like to have a missing person in your life. Now, granted, my brother is home, but it was his choice. But for 12 years, none of the family knew that. And I do know what that wonder is and where are they? And, why aren't the police looking for them? And, all that kind of stuff. I do know that. but I don't know what it's like to have a missing child. I don't know what it's like to have a murdered child or sister or brother or any of that. I don't. I can sympathize against it. I can talk about it.
Right.
I can put out facts, and that's all you can do. Keep their faces, keep the facts, tell the story. That's what we do. So
Yeah, make noise.
make noise. Yeah, I
Cause
love
trouble. Oh, I mean, I don't like being a troublemaker, but sometimes you do have to cause trouble
it.
to make the noise. But yeah, I just can't, like, when I talk to some of these victims, and the story, some of the stories are just horrific.
Yeah.
And I want to imagine what it would feel like, like if I went to say I went to Memphis and I walked into a jazz bar and I was the only white person in there and everyone just looked at me and
Yeah.
looked at me weird, then is that how it feels to be, a certain race in this country? I don't know. But to be discriminated against because of the color of your skin or because of the culture
Right.
in where you grew up, that's not acceptable, especially when tax dollars are being used to
Exactly.
fund a place.
And these
So,
are smart children, that are smart young adults that are, granted a grant to go into these schools, and they're really good, but they end up losing their dreams.
they're
I
trying
mean,
to further their education,
right.
make themselves to set themselves up better, and then
Mhm.
when they have a family and they have kids, they can, their kids can do the same thing and maybe do something even
Right.
greater. But with the process, it's all being yanked away right out from
Mhm.
under them. As soon as you don't need them anymore, get them out.
Yep. Use them up and go. Right. It's not that way.
Yeah.
They're all human. We're all human. We all have feelings and we all matter. And that's the only way I can say it. I don't know that struggle, but we are all human and we all have feelings.
Yeah. It'll be interesting when it's all said and done. And
Yeah.
I cannot wait because it's been almost
3 years.
almost 3 years.
Yep.
Yes, almost 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember you standing outside there in your coat with your little microphone and asking
Right.
for the Facebook group. And I said, here you go. I got it started for you. And that was the only thing I did. But
That was January of 2020, but October is halfway through the football season. So it had to be early October, maybe late September is when I first started talking to people about that.
the
So
people.
it's been almost 3 years,
Yeah.
and we're not even close to. I mean, we're close, but there's so
There
much
really
that's
has
got
to
to.
be some major changes within the system. It's within the let's say people in charge, the upper
Yes,
people.
yes,
They
yes.
there's the ones that have to change, and that falls on the people. So hopefully, these votes that people will start paying more attention to their voting. I say it a lot. You got to know who you're voting for. Don't just go in there and push a button because, research who they are. Research really isn't that hard. It is looking up, put a name in Google and see what you can do. That's how you can become a researcher. That's how easy it is. And that's where it starts. Am I not lying? That is.
That's a good way to start.
Yeah.
And go.go is another good place to research because it's not going to pull up. It's
Right.
going to pull up different things. I mean, if you go to Google and you search something and then go to go.go and search there, you get totally different results. And so that's a place that I like to use just so I can get different angles on things. But are you looking it up now?
No, I was no, I wasn't looking it up. I was putting your link in. One of the mods asked for one of your links to put it in.
I think it's DuckDuckGo. Actually, I think is what it's called. Actually, let me look just to make sure because people are going to look. But let me see.
Google's corrupt, Zapper Cop says. Yeah.
Yeah, it's DuckDuckGo. It's an app called DuckDuckGo that I like to use it as well.
Oh, really? I've never heard of it. Well, I guess I'm going to have to put that in my long list of notes that I have that I get from all of you people.
Yeah, it's very interesting what you see on there compared to what you see on Google.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm going to duck, go, people. Put it down, write it down,
DuckDuckGo.
remember it. I'm going to
Yes.
use that. I'm sure we'll use it.
In probably about a year, in about a year, I bet it'll be really popular.
What did I do? I just got home. This made y'all disappear. I was like, what the heck? I'm not going to don't kick yourself out of a stream that you've waited for forever.
Don't make me run this show. I'm out of practice.
Yeah, you're out of practice, but you're never far away. I mean, you're always there. You know, if you need to know something, I know we could ask you. How's it going in the Lewis case? Can you speak on that at all?
What can I say on that?
How are the daughters? Are they good?
Yeah, they're good. They would like for everything to just be done and over with.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm asking you questions where I'm putting you on the spot, and I'm sorry.
Well, I just don't want to say anything. The case is still being worked. The family knows what happened. I mean, Donna told me a month or two ago, you know, regardless of what the outcome is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we appreciate finally knowing what really happened to our dad. Because
that's all that matters.
Yeah, you're like, we really had no idea of all of these things that were going on behind the scenes, and nobody knew. I mean, if law enforcement would have known everything they know now, they would have had this case solved in less than a week.
Yeah.
It would have been so easy, but they did such a horrible investigation, that the team they had back then, that they really they put the whole thing behind the 8 ball. But there's still enough there, and that's all.
That's good enough for me. Let's put it that way. As long as the family gets some closure, and we know LE don't always step up to for whatever reasons. If they have relatives, if they just are lazy, we don't know. But we come across that in every case of across the USA. We get it, and it's sad. It's really sad for when families are looking for answers. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're seeing a lot over in the missing people. When families want answers, like this new Kylie Rhodes or Rounds. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing her name. I'm very bad at names. Everybody knows that. She is under suspicious circumstances of dying, and she was 16, just turned 17 years old, and she was at a party and her car wasn't there, and then all of a sudden AWP found the car where the cops searched already. So there's a whole lot going on there that just is not cool, and we see that, and now we don't know whether it's law enforcement that dropped the ball for this and they didn't find it, or if the car was put in there afterwards. We just know there's foul play somewhere, and we hope they step up, because when they pulled the car out, they pulled out items, fell out of the car, and were left on the bottom of the lake, and a civilian found them, and LE did not want to pick them up. For what reason you would not want evidence out of some, as far as I'm concerned, murdered girl's car? Okay. Because she was in the back, like hatchback. There was 2 windows busted open. One was down, one was busted open. She was in the hatchback. She wasn't in the driver's seat. So that's funny on its own. But why they would not want this evidence that was laying on the bottom, her phone cord, a laptop, a hairbrush, things that fell out of the car. Why wouldn't you want that? That's very suspicious to me.
Well, one of my sources in law enforcement told me, and we're talking about the Don Lewis case.
Yeah.
But they tell me, they're like, look, politics plays a big role in law enforcement, and numbers count. He said, if you've got 10 cases and 9 of them are super easy to solve, but that 10th one is going to be a humdinger. They're going to work those first 9 cases first. They're going to cherry pick because the numbers are important for the political aspect of it. So maybe that case there was so many other cases that were much easier to work that they're like, let's get all these easy ones out of the way. We'll worry about the hard ones later. And then next thing you know, a year goes by, 2 years goes by, and you have so many other cases that are easier to work.
Right.
And that's what they do. That's what my source told me happens.
Well, I believe that because it makes them look good for hard on crime. If the more crimes they solve,
yes,
then it looks good for a new vote. They're like, oh man, well, they solve so many cases. Now, whether they screw them up or not, it doesn't matter. It's like the attorney general. I mean, the high prosecuting attorney. The more he convicts, the more it is, better for him. Let's get him in there again. He's really hard on crime. But look at Ken Kratz, look at
I don't want to look at that guy.
Well, no, I don't want to either. I'm glad he's been disappeared for many years now. So, but I mean, they're not looking at the whole case and the conviction. They're just looking at the conviction, whether it's right or wrong. And I get that. And it makes sense politically, but that's,
Yeah, if you're a state prosecutor, that's something good to have on your resume. But at the same time, I mean, all things should be.
His own wife don't want to look at him. You're right, Arctic.
What's that? Oh, I don't even have the chat up.
You should put the chat up here.
Okay.
We got a lot of people in here, probably people you have never seen before and probably people you have seen before. A lot of them say they follow you and they're looking forward to it. We probably never
some people that I probably don't want to see.
No, I'm kidding. No, there's not going to be anybody like that in here.
I'm kidding.
They'll get kicked out by me. I'm Iron Wrench.
All right. The chat. I think I can.
It's nice to see you, Zapper. Leave it to Bieber. Glad to hear you or see you, Jim. Drama. Must stand this. Great to see you too. Arctic Fox, Heather B. Dazed. Egypt Mania. Dark Side, of course. Disco Pervert.
Dark Side of the Moon's in the chat. Yes.
Dark Side of the Moon is always. She is like the #1 supporter since I have ever started my channel. She has always watched my stuff, always gave me a like, whatever. Hi, Bama. Good to see you. Sluggish Sleuth. Some of my team's in here. It's great to see you guys. I mean, I knew Arctic would be here. He's a fan because he followed you through the Stephen Avery case and, Tiger King and all that. And you gave me something earlier. Are you wanting to show that and discuss that?
Absolutely. If you want to, yes, because I think there's nobody helping this individual.
Okay.
And I can give you a little information about what happened
before I roll film. Go ahead. Yeah.
Before that dash cam. So this is a guy that lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I think he was driving to Oklahoma City. He was driving somewhere and he was on the interstate and his car broke down. So he parked his car and started walking down the interstate to get help. And at some point, it appears that he had some kind of mental issue that happened. As you know, I don't know if it was, I mean, for all you know, his car might not have been broken down. He could have just had some kind of
mental breakdown. Yeah.
Something happened because in the dash cam, when the officers walk up to him and ask him, what are you doing? Or do you, we're here to help or whatever. He says, I'm walking to Africa. Now, this is in Oklahoma on the interstate. And he tells them, I'm walking to Africa. Now, if I'm in Oklahoma and someone's walking on the side of the road and I pull over, do you need a ride? And the guy says, I'm walking to Africa. I'll think, okay, this could be like a medical situation. Like something's not right. You don't walk to Africa,
right. Yeah,
especially from Oklahoma. And anyway, so he's driving, car breaks down. He's walking on the interstate. And then I sent you the dash cam, or you have the dash cam. Now it's like 14 minutes long, but it's really only like 7, because the second half is the dash cam showing the inside of the police car. But you can hear the voice better. And maybe when we're done here, you can post that video on your channel so people can watch it. But you can hear the audio better on the inside dash cam. But there's a couple of things when we play it, I'll have you pause it, because there's a couple of things that are said afterwards and before that I thought, well, that's pretty odd. But yeah, if you want to,
I'll get it up here. I'll share the screen and we'll talk about it. Let me share a screen, see if I can do this. I haven't done this much, but let me see.
I know you have to click the include audio thing, right?
Yep, I got it. Share tab audio. And here we go. SC King dash cam, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll hear it. We'll see. And there's no sound in the beginning.
Okay.
Like the first 30 seconds, there's no sound, but this is on the interstate in Oklahoma, between Tulsa and Oklahoma City.
Can you hear it?
Oh, I can hear it now.
Okay.
Okay, so I think that's his car right there that broke down. That's Steven. It's going to be hard to see. That's Steven right up there walking on the road.
1 George Noah, Edward King 1, 3 Tom John 3, 19579.
What'd you say?
When these cops get up, there's another truck up there, white truck from, I think, the Stroud Police Department.
Okay.
When they get up there, they ask the guy in the truck if he has a taser. And I don't know, maybe on when someone's walking on the side of the road and there's a car broke down that you just passed, maybe your first initial thought is, do we have a taser for this guy walking on the road?
Yeah, I wouldn't think so, but anyway.
I found it odd that one of these officers, as he goes up to this truck, you hear him, he asked the guy if he has a taser.
Okay. My puppy has to go, so I'm just going to play this, and hopefully I won't be at a stop. She only takes 2 seconds.
All right.
We're gonna get out and probably go hands on.
We're gonna get out and probably go hands on. Do you have a taser? So they're already in the mindset they're gonna go hands on, people.
Hey man, hey, talk to me. What's going on? What? You can't We're just right here. Thank you. We're trying to help you. What's going on? You can't walk on the turnpike. I didn't tell you to stand up either. You do. You're being detained right now. Yes, you do. Somewhere. Well, you're going to get off the turnpike. What you're going to do? Let's go. Okay. Turn around. Turn around. Get up. Turn around. Well, you can be tired. You can turn around. Roll over on your face. That's fine. All you gotta do is listen.
All right, if you pause it real quick.
All right, go ahead and stand up. Ready? No. Well, get ready, okay? We're going to stand up, okay? Yeah. Now, you can learn how to walk, I'll drag you on your face.
I'm just stopping this here for a minute because Zapper asked, what are we watching? And is this an initial call we're watching?
Okay. So his car broke down on the interstate and he was walking on the interstate, and it's probably like this everywhere, but in Oklahoma, it's illegal to walk on the interstate. So that's what the call was for, was someone walking on the interstate, I'm assuming, but I'll find out real quick. But his car was right there on the side of the road. His car was, he hadn't walked very far.
Yeah,
So,
it didn't look like he was that far.
No, but the officers said, this is why I'm just like, well, maybe this is normal. We're probably going to go hands-on. Do you have a taser? That's what they say before they even talk to him.
Wow.
I mean, this is a Stevens in his early 20s. I mean, this is a young black guy just walking down the interstate, which is illegal. I get that. And when they go up to him, they're like, hey, what's going on here? What are you doing? And he says, I'm walking to Africa. That's his response. I'm walking to Africa.
Yeah.
Which he's not walking to Africa.
No.
I mean,
mental distress.
Something is wrong. And then they tell him to get down on the ground. They're actually handcuffing him. And it's raining outside. I don't know if you saw the car. It had the wipers, but it's muddy. It's wet. Anyway, they put him down on the ground and handcuff him and tell him to get up and walk. And he says no, or something like that. And the cop says, you're going to, or I'm going to drag your face through the mud, or whatever it was he said.
Yeah.
So he's not complying with their orders. And I think this makes these guys upset more than likely.
Okay, we'll finish.
Oh, you ready to walk? Well, I'm not hurting you. It hurts so much. It hurts so much. It hurts me so much. Please let me lie down. Please, you're hurting me. You can walk with your feet. You got all the way down here on your feet. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I'd rather have a cage. Yeah, I'll follow him to Lincoln. Are you ready for the shift? Speed shift. But Jenkins told me just a coverage shift, yeah.
I'll let you guys know, for whoever's watching, if the body cams are actually on, I'm trying to leave Oklahoma and go to Africa, and
Africa's the other way.
okay, take me and let me go.
I'm going to be up now.
Okay, fine, bitch.
Ooh.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Henry was a call 904.
Here's where I think some pain compliance comes into play. You heard him call the one officer a bitch.
Yep.
No.
He's not getting up and walking for him.
Hey, your feet worked all the way until now. Thank you.
Yeah, we got the 9.32.
Turn this way.
What you got to say in this vehicle on the same lane here, 247 middle?
I want you to fly out of here.
All right, listen here when these guys walk back what this one officer says.
Yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate you. I was going to tackle him, but I'm like, well, I want to talk to him before I just smoke him. Kind of a passive resistor. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. He's probably on something. Yeah. Where's he going?
Okay, you can stop it here.
Okay, let me stop it here.
So he says, I was going to tackle him, but I thought I'd talk to him before I smoked him.
Yeah.
So the mindset when they first arrive is we're going hands-on. Do you have a taser? And then the cop just says, I almost tackled him, but thought I'd talk to him first. So
Well, that's nice of him.
yeah, I mean, I think there's a problem here. And the tasing, I don't think is necessary, but there's more, there's 15 hours of gel video, body cameras, but this is all that was sent, was this dash cam from the car that's furthest away. But there's still so much more, but I don't know why they're not sending it.
Yeah.
But he claims that they dislocated his shoulder. They chained him to a pole at the jail.
Oh, wow.
Chained him to a pole, and supposedly there's video in the jail of all this stuff, but I can't get it. So, and I really don't have time to dig into this thing. But
so you're putting it out here for some of the people
if
that
anybody wants to. I mean, there's 15 hours of footage if you can get it.
That is really crazy.
And I mean, what really got me was, why did they send the dash cam from the vehicle that was furthest away from what was happening, and why won't they release any of the body cams? Because he talks to the body camera up there when he says, if anybody's watching these body cameras, I'm leaving Oklahoma for Africa. So he's addressing one of the body cameras. So they have body cameras now. If they're recording, I don't know.
And you can hear him say they're hurting him. You know, you know.
And Stephen has a history of chronic pain. Like he's in pain all the time already. And there is documentation to show his history of chronic pain with many hospitals in Tulsa. And, you know, but I mean, he was walking, which a lot of people like, I can go out and walk and make it look like I walk without any pain whatsoever. I mean,
Arctic said he was walking and he walked all the way to the next intersection, never got stopped. Now he's a white man, you know, so maybe, I don't know.
That might be a different story if he was white. I did talk to him, and he said the truck that was parked up front, the white one up there, he told that guy, my car broke down, can I have a ride? And the guy said, no, I'm not giving you a ride. And then he just kept walking. But they charged him with hitchhiking, resisting arrest, and a couple other things. He has a court appearance later this month. So
that is some crazy stuff.
I think there's something. I mean, I think there's something
to look at.
Yeah, if someone wanted to get involved. I mean, the fact that there's so much footage, video footage.
15 hours is a lot. It is a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
that shows him in jail too, being arrested at the whole shebang from start to now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have 15 hours to sit down and watch, and someone's going to have to watch all of the footage. But I think there's I think there's something there. That's all I can really say is I think there's something there. Now I do know there's a TV station that is I think they'll do a story on it.
I just look at your face and I know there's something there.
I know they are really asking questions and they're trying to put something together. So I would assume if they do something and there's footage like I think that there is, then it could be a really big story. If what he claims really happened and it's on video and that's why they're not releasing video, it could be a really big thing. But
what was the information they were working with prior to the contact? I don't know. I think they just came across him walking down the street. Wasn't that it?
well, I don't know. And I just sent him a text message and asked him what was the original call, because his car was broke down on the side of the road. You could see it at the beginning of the video. He wasn't that far from his car.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he just pulled over and had been sitting there, or, you know, when that one
Somebody
white
called it in, right?
truck pulled up, which it could have been a Department of Transportation truck or a Stroud Police Department truck. But I don't know if when he pulled up, Stephen got out of the car and asked for the ride, and the guy said no. He just took off on his walk to Africa.
Yeah, that's a little strange. Walk to Africa.
Yeah, I don't know, but I did send him a text to ask him what was the initial. Was there a call? Did someone call, or what was the initial? You know, what got them out there to begin with? So hopefully he'll respond to me.
Well, those of you that like to dig, and believe me, when Ripper gets a little, I think there's something there. There generally is. Okay, so good luck on that, because I'm sure you'll have some of these sleuths going crazy trying to figure this out, get this stuff, and maybe there's really something there that you can help with this young man who was walking to Africa, and obviously there is an issue there with that. And just from him saying that, I think the police should have handled it a little bit differently. He was having some kind of mental, psychosis going on there, and they really should have took that into heart when he's saying he's driving to Africa, instead of saying you're going the wrong way and now you're under arrest.
Right. And now he has admitted, I saw him, he did a post on TikTok or Facebook where he said, I'm better now. I have the proper medications. So obviously there was something going on there. Now, to be fair to law enforcement,
yeah,
you don't know what you're getting into when you're walking up to someone. I mean,
you don't.
I wouldn't do that job.
Nope.
Because I would be too nervous, and I just. But if you're that kind of person and you're scared, you shouldn't do that job. Like that's not the job for you. But someone's got to do the job. Right. But I guess you don't know what you're walking up to. And I mean, I've picked up hitchhikers before.
You're crazy.
My college buddies have picked up hitchhikers, and we've had somewhere, after a couple of minutes, we're like, what in the world have we just done? Like, is this guy going to kill us? And so then we say, we got to stop at this store to go to the bathroom. Everyone gets out and we jump back in and take off, because we're like, oh my gosh, what do we like? Have we made a mistake? But so you don't know what you're going to get. That it seemed to me when the guy is saying things like, I was going to tackle him, but thought I should talk to him first before I smoked him. I found that a little bit odd, that your mindset before even talking to the guy is, I'm going to tackle him and take him down to the ground. Yeah. That seems a little aggressive.
It does.
Me. I mean, and then to say we're going to go hands-on before you talk to the guy as well, and I don't know what they detained him for. I don't know like what their probable
initial call was. We really don't know all details, but you can find that out in 15 hours worth of stuff they have if you dig into it. I'm going to drop the link because I know Mystic Jinx is here. Hello, Jinx.
Good. Hello, Carrie.
And I know that Arctic wants to come up and say hello, and I said I would drop the link before it gets too late. I know that you can't sit in the chair for a very long time.
I'm standing.
And you're standing. Well,
yeah.
I know you can't stand for a long time either. So, I don't want your visit with me to create any issues. If he's a smart ass by nature, if he isn't driving to say an airport to go to Africa. Yeah. Well, no, they didn't. Get up here. Don't be nervous. It takes.
Oh, you got someone joining the stream?
You know what, Brandy? You are correct. It does take longer to be a hairdresser than it does to be an officer. 1,500 hours you have to work, on the side to do that. I know that for a fact. So, Jinxie, what are we talking about? Just the shooting shit? No, we're not talking about the shooting shit. We're talking about something that. Here is.
Oh, don't tell her. I don't want her to know.
Okay,
look, Arctic Fox Troop Robin's in the house. Looky there.
Hey.
How are you doing, Arctic?
Arctic Fox?
Just nervous because Ripper is like one of the inspirations for me starting a channel. So it's a pleasure to be up here talking to him.
And this is a really good YouTuber, Ripper. He puts out more missing videos a day than anybody in all of YouTube. He gets 8, 10, 12 done a day. It's amazing.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And I think everyone should be a YouTuber, or everyone that is trying to get information out to help people. Like Eric Jose, did not want to do a YouTube channel, but he drove me so nuts that I was like, dude, you gotta do your own channel and you can talk about all this stuff, because he was good at finding out stuff and putting things together and then explaining them. And then finally he did. And of course, if you go back and watch his early videos, he's a nervous wreck.
Nervous.
Yeah. I mean, he, in the beginning, he was so bad. It was, he was not bad, but nervous. You could just tell he was very uncomfortable with being in front of the camera. But he did it. He wanted to help Stephen Avery and Brendan so much that he didn't mind being uncomfortable and doing something that he wouldn't normally have done. But that's how bad he wanted to help Stephen and Brendan, is that he did something that made him very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And he became really good.
And when you met him, you knew he was not a social person. He felt very uncomfortable around large groups of people and talking to strangers. But you talk about the case, he opened right up. He could just talk about it, and it was great. Hi, Jinxie. Now there's my fangirl right there.
Hello.
What's up, Jinxie?
I lost my photo somehow. I don't know where it went.
Well, I don't either. But
what was the photo of, or do we want to ask?
It was just my light bulb or me with my Brendan t-shirt on. Whatever was there, it's not there right now.
Yep. See, I got Brendan on. I wear it until he's free. That's what I vowed to do. Wear Brendan on my chest everywhere I go.
The same shirt every day?
No, not the same. I got a wardrobe of it, believe me. But yeah, that was my thing. I figured, hey, I'm gonna go and everybody can see his face and ask me questions, right? I mean, put the face out there, right? That's what you're supposed to do. Keep the story going.
So what were you guys talking about? I missed it because I ended up having a nap and I just got up a little while ago.
We're talking about you.
We were talking about something that Ripper came across and finds highly suspicious. You know how he starts them things.
and is he gonna? Do we know what this is, or is he gonna keep it secret until he does his own live? Are you coming back to do lives?
No. And I don't have, no, and I don't have time to really look into it. Like, I just don't. But
he's busy with this big old farm there.
Well, it's the Highland stuff.
Okay.
It's like, it's very important to make sure that everything is there. Like every you know,
I was
that,
at the Foul Play Live the other day when they were talking about that case.
yeah, I mean, I worked on that for a year and a half, like almost every day with getting information. And there's so much information, so many recordings, because as it was ongoing, there were people out and about, like inside sources that were recording. Because in Kansas, it's a one-party state, so you don't have to tell anybody you're recording. So
Okay.
there's so much. You guys would not believe how many recordings there are, but they had. I'm trying to think what I can say.
He always does this to us. You know
Well,
that.
this one I don't want to mess anything
No,
up.
you don't. No, you don't. Because it's come a long way.
Yeah, but they're at a point right now where, I mean, I've got to turn everything over, like
Oh,
everything, and they're still ongoing. Like as I'm unloading these external drives that are just full of all this stuff, as I'm listening to all the stuff, you know, it triggers memories of like, oh, what about, you know, I didn't think about this and that, because, you know, as you go on later down the road, you uncover other things and you start putting the bigger puzzle together. So there's times where I'm turning stuff over and I'm like, oh, I forgot about this. And I've talked to this person since then and this other person, and now I know who this person was that these people are talking about. See, there's still a lot of work. Get that done. The goal is to make change, to get rid of the
racial
people,
bias.
to get rid of the people that are behind the fiasco there. I call it the scandal, but is to get those people out of that place and education altogether. They don't need to be
Right.
in the business of education, especially higher education.
I agree.
That's the goal.
I 100% agree with that. I'm not, you know, if you're praising Hitler as a great leader, make me wonder
scary.
who you are. That's very
pretty
scary.
That's absolutely scary in 2021 to yeah, that's
I've
pretty
never
scary.
seen Arctic so quiet. Arctic, come on now. What
So
have you always wanted to ask Ripper and never been able to? Here's your chance.
Oh no. Oh
I
no.
just wanted to tell him how much I appreciate the work he does and how much of an inspiration he was to me. I mean, I do wish he'd start putting more content out. I miss watching his shows.
Yeah. He's a busy man. In demand. I think we all feel the same way, Arctic. We really do.
I think if you guys worked on one of your cases for a year and a half to 2 years, and it got to the point where it's in federal court, and you have attorneys that are saying, hey, I need all of this stuff handed to me on a silver platter with a big bowl on it, you know, you're going to do your best to put everything together. I mean, you're going to go comb through everything, and you're going to make sure that you don't leave anything out, because it's to the point where it's close to the finish line. Like, this is the point where everything that you've gathered, you're like, here's the proof. These are facts, and show them, you know, go into this federal courtroom and do your thing.
The best.
Of course, they're not
absolutely. Absolutely. I've had cases like that. I'm working with one right now where I've got the mother of a child that was killed in Fredericktown, Missouri. He was found, his body with skeletal remains. His phone wasn't with him, ironically enough. And up until the point that I found the transcript of the 911 call, they were denying that the 911 call even existed. And now they're trying to say that there was no foul play involved. Well, I have seen the remains, and his skull's bashed in. So,
and that's not the only
hard
case.
to deny that.
There's 2 other cases in the same township that a second autopsy showed different results from the coroner's autopsy. Private second autopsies have shown totally different. So there's some kind of cover up going there.
And there's also, of course, the case of the guy that was found in the attic rolled up in a rug that they say committed suicide. So
was it winter time and he was trying to stay warm?
I know that case you're talking about. Nosy brought us that case, I think.
And it was
found him in the gym, and he was rolled up in a shoes off.
No, that's a different case.
Okay.
This was in
that's Kendrick's case, and there's no way that was accidental either.
Yeah.
Right. This was in a sheriff's owned home or something.
Wow, in his home?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Well, the home wasn't owned by the sheriff at the time. The home was owned by a dude named James Wade. And there's been at least 2 people killed there that we know of. One of them was Durante, who he was deemed a suicide. Independent autopsy said, no way this man killed himself. Definitely a homicide. And then the dude that was found rolled up in the rug in the attic, that was at James Wade's house too. And he's been connected to several other crimes, missing people, homicides within Fredericktown.
And what are they making of the person rolled in the attic?
They said he committed suicide.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's similar.
You can't make this. You can't make this up.
So what would the reason be for law enforcement? Who are they protecting, or they just don't want to go through
here's
the
one
process?
for you. The assistant coroner is also the sheriff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah. I don't know.
If the coroner is the only one that can arrest a sheriff, how is it they can be the coroner? I mean, they're an assistant coroner, which means they are working, but that means they're very close with the coroner they work under, right? Like
Look
the
at
actual.
face.
It seems like a pretty big conflict to me.
Yeah, but
right?
You know, they're like Manitowoc. There's no conflict of interest.
Of course, never.
Manitowoc makes up their own rules. I'm fighting them on a FOIA right now.
Yeah.
They want to charge me $42 for
the young man
email.
that was the young man's that skeletal remains were found. His name's Timmy Dees, and his mom's name is Barbara Hall. And the team as a whole has been working to fundraise money so that she can get an independent autopsy done, because there's just so much that's not right with that case. For instance, his phone wasn't found on him, but he went missing on July the 28th. A month after he went missing, there was a check-in on Facebook from his Facebook account in Fredericktown, Missouri. So
yeah,
it
is the sheriff, Sapper. It is the sheriff. Yes.
2 bodies.
Dead man can't check in, and then they knew what they had done. They knew they fucked up, so they deleted the check-in off of his Facebook.
Who deleted it?
Whoever posted it.
Okay, so we don't know who made the post.
Well, we know it wasn't Timmy, because Timmy had been missing since the 28th. So
And rolled up in a carpet in some guy's thing.
Well, no. Timmy's not the one that was rolled up in the carpet. That's a different case.
Okay.
Same township.
I gotcha.
Right. So there's a lot shady going on in Fredericks, Missouri.
Oh yeah, and I've got families. They've created a whole Facebook group about all the shady shit that's happening in Fredericktown. I could have live streams every night about the shady stuff that's going on there.
Are you from Missouri?
No, okay. I'm from Oklahoma.
Hey, me too.
Yep, didn't know you were neighbors, did ya?
No, I'm like Northeast Oklahoma.
Were you the one that was supposed to tell Ripper that you have a big man crush on him? Were you the one
that might be?
Now you're calling him out, Jinxie.
Ripper, I forgot to tell you.
No, I'm right on the Oklahoma-Arkansas state line.
Okay, all right. So you're Southeast Oklahoma. So I probably drove close to you when I was driving back and forth to Florida, because I'd go down that way through Salisal and that part of Oklahoma. Oh,
Peek in,
there's
Jinx.
Jinx just for a minute.
Peek in with your pink little earphones, and we're cute.
I'm
But
a mess, so.
yeah, there's a lot of shady stuff going on, and we do have, like I said, the real crime community is completely different than true crime. I mean, I know true crime was good at one time, but right now, if you go over to true crime and you look at it, there is nothing but real crime going on there with these creators. It's, you know, it's. We've also created a Facebook group for families to go, you know, so they don't get hooked up with these creators that
Power
make
hungry control freaks.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's crazy.
It's too bad, really. It's really too bad all the drama that comes along with this type of work, because the drama takes away from the real work that needs to be done, which is like, I'm really enjoying the break right now because there is no drama, because it's just me, you know,
doing your own thing.
Stuff. So, I mean, there's times when the voices in my head try to create drama. I normally just ignore them. I just tell myself, ignore the trolls, ignore the trolls.
My team keeps me level enough to be like, Linda, wait a minute now. No.
I admire those who can walk away and go be not away, like away and enjoy it, because I used to be that way. I'll just research. But when there's nothing left to research for a while, you start having the social aspect of it, and then the drama comes. So I'm like a revolving door. I'm out, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out.
I stay here and I stay away from drama, and my channel's never had drama on it, and I've never been a part of drama. I don't feed it. Let them say whatever they want about me. I don't care. My history will speak for itself. That's how I feel about it. You know,
that's the way.
And you know, want to dox me? The only thing you are doxing is my name and where I live. Good luck to you. Who cares? Okay, because that's not doxing. What doxing is social security numbers, bank accounts, things like that. That's way over the limit. People's records. You know, let's get over it.
That happened to some of us here.
Yeah, and it's horrible because everybody. Let's face it. We all have a past. Yes, I have a past. Oh my God, you know, and I am not living there anymore. I've walked through that path and I'm on a different path. So if you convict somebody over and over again for their past, they're going to live in it. I don't live there no more. So good luck to finding the Linda that did. Okay. Because she no longer exists.
Well,
exactly.
It's a compliment when people can only use your past against you and not your present. It's a really big compliment. And for anyone listening out there, if you hear someone saying, well, did you know that 5 years ago, so-and-so did this, or 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, they did this, that's a pretty weak case to present to somebody, that you got to bring up something from years ago to try to bash someone. I mean,
they didn't even allow Stephen Avery's past in his trial. So that should tell you something.
Right, because
that doesn't matter on what's going on now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, if we all do what Eric Jose used to say, which ignore the trolls, if we all did that, they'd all go away. But sometimes it's hard.
I'm good at it sometimes, but other times you get drawn in.
Oh, I won't let myself be drawn in. I won't even give them a crumb. Say what you like about me. I don't care. You're not going to get a video of me talking about you, because that's too much airtime for you. And ain't nobody going to rent space in my head. I got enough people up there already. I'm a Gemini. So, you know, it's just not going to happen. I will never change.
Why can't I charge them rent for in their mind? Okay.
You can.
I did listen to Eric Cozy when he says that, and sometimes I pull back to that. You know, like, yeah, that is the way to be. It really is. You can overcome that. Just ignore it and keep on your path. Don't let nobody steer you from it, because there's too many really good people out here doing really good things that bad people.
Exactly. I mean, I've said for the longest time, 1,000 times on all of our channels, that if these creators put half as much energy into coming together and working for the better cause as they do going after each other and creating chaos, then we would be able to find every missing kid out there.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly right. It is so much wasted time.
Wasted energy.
Yes. Yeah. If everybody could get on the same page, but here's what happens. Not every scenario, but some. You have too many, and since I'm Native American, I can say this: you have too many chiefs in the tribe, and one chief doesn't agree with the other chief, and then someone gets hurt because their opinion or what they want to do, the other person doesn't want to do, so they start talking about them behind their back, and then whoever they're talking to starts saying, "Hey, so and so said this about you," and then the next thing you know, everything's just
the next thing you know, the 4 core becomes 3.
Well, you know what? We've been very fortunate. Our whole team is on the same path, and we were all on the same path before we joined together to make the new community, and we'll be that way because that's just who we are at the core. Our channels and the people have been that way. So working together has been very easy for us. We have one goal, that's to put out the faces and tell the facts of a story. When we put our think together tanks and we think and we speculate, we say that. We don't put out non-factual information because misinformation hurts cases. 100% hurts cases. No matter what case you're talking about, a missing person, a murder, it all hurts. So, now, learn the facts.
I will make a confession, because I did put misinformation out one time to try to get a reaction from someone to get more information, and it worked. So now, but I did tell people, hey, I'm going to do this. So keep your ears open, because when I do this, that person is going to start trying to fix what it is. Because what I did was I put something out there that I was pretty certain that this is what happened. So I put something out that was just a little bit different. And this idiot saw my video and went and told my source, that's not how it happened, though. This is how it happened. And it was recorded. And they said what I had thought had happened. So I did put some misinformation out to get the information directly from the horse's mouth. So, I mean, but yeah, if you're putting things out about a case and it's not factual, it could result in some damage.
Absolutely. Linda, I want to thank you for letting me come up and fanboy over Ripper, but my presence is being requested on another panel, so I'm going to have to hop down.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Arctic Fox, thanks for coming on. And I'm glad you have your YouTube channel, and I'll see you over there. I appreciate your nice comments.
All right. Bye.
Okay, Natasha, I will, Ripper will give me the information, and I will put all the information so you can dig into this. We already have people that want to dig into it there, Ripper. So
for Stephen Carroll King stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's who you look for, Stephen Carroll King. And you can go on.
You can let me see. I think they took his TikTok down, but let me look. That's where I came across it, was his TikTok channel.
So is he from the Highland Community College?
What?
No, he was just a kid walking down the street.
Oh, this is something else. Okay.
Yeah. I
missed some of this. That's why I'm asking.
You're always late to the party, but you catch up quick.
Yeah.
She has nothing to do but research. So there you go, Natasha. You can have at it.
That's not true. I have a treasure hunt now to find.
Yeah, you'll get it. If anybody
Which is also part research, I guess.
There's a lot of research in that. She's going to make us all rich, Ripper. She's not going to forget us when she gets them gems.
Oh, yes, I am. I'm going to be like, see ya!
Who are you? I don't remember you guys. Who's a 4 core? I don't know anything about a 4 core. What are you talking about?
There was only 3. It was always just 3. I swear, I didn't say anything.
Let's not give some of them people any recognition, but I will recognize Nosy Ren. But the rest, I think I've forgotten.
Nosy Ren is definitely part of the core.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't, she'll come after you. If you forget her.
You're not supposed to tell them it's a secret. It's a secret, dark side. What's the name? The secret.
Here is, let's see. I'm looking up, I'm trying to find out the best way to find. All right, here you go. All right. Here's for, who was it? That was Natasha.
Natasha.
Okay. On Facebook, hopefully is that going to show up? SC King.
SC King.
S like Sam, C as in Carrie.
Or Carol.
Cat. King.
And King like Ripper, King of YouTube.
And if you go on his Facebook, there's videos on there, and then there's videos of him also talking about what happened to him. And if you message him, just tell him that you saw Ripper on a channel or whatever, and you saw the dash cam and you want to help. And he might respond to you. If he doesn't, contact me and I'll put you in touch with him.
Poor guy. Yeah. I don't know if they have that there. Florida, you can Baker Act somebody.
When he was screaming in pain, I mean, if they weren't tasing him, then they probably should have called for EMS to come out, because obviously something's wrong with the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm walking to Africa. That's a red flag right there. I mean, but I don't know. Maybe it's just easier to throw handcuffs on someone and put him in jail.
Give me a rundown on what happened with this guy.
Let it get sorted out. I'll send you.
Yeah, I'll put the link in my.
Was he abused by police officers? Is this another?
Here, I'll put the link. I'll put the link in there. What we were watching, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
So we can.
And then you can watch it. You can watch it, Jinxie, and then I'll message you some of the other details that are not public. That that we don't want out there in the public.
He's constantly teasing people. But does anybody have any questions? Because I don't want to keep Ripper. I don't want to wreck Ripper.
Hold on. Natasha is scared. I want to get my channel back up and go. I've been scared long enough. What's that mean? What does she mean? She's scared.
Did you feel like you were bullied off of YouTube? Is that what you're trying to say?
What is she scared of?
I don't know. What are you scared of there, Natasha? I hope that scared long enough I have to be the voice.
Is she scared of like in front of the camera?
You don't have to be on film. I barely ever am.
Yeah. Send her a link. Linda, get her on here right now. Let's break her in.
Get her on here.
Get her on here right now. Let's get her over the hump.
Okay, Natasha, this is for you. Jump on it and say hi to us.
Natasha, let's get past this issue. No sense in waiting anymore. Let's
there
get past
go.
it.
Drop the link. Come on in.
Oh gosh. I hope. Remember who was it that had the little turtle head?
Oh, that was Pom Pom. Let's put it this way. I do have my overlays. So,
oh my God,
there won't be no porn bombing on my thing.
I will never forget that.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the second, like minute and second mark down on that video, so I could send the link to people. I was like, hey, you got to go to like the 43-minute mark.
I think you made me find it for your
I did it during a live stream. That's right. And had people go look at it when we were doing that live. I was like,
Natasha, hit that link and come on in.
Come on, Natasha.
Was that even a turtle head? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Someone had a pet turtle, a little box turtle.
Yeah, you find out that most of these porn bombers, they ain't got much to be bragging about.
Did we ever find out who that was?
No.
I think I know. I think I know who it was, but I don't want to mention his name because I'm
going to tell you my theory. I'll message you my theory about
I don't
that
want him
because
tracking me down again, harassing
Oh
me.
God, I hope I know. I think I know who you're talking about.
I mean,
It's the unnameable in our community.
yes. I'm like, dude,
I
what is
agree,
wrong?
but I don't think that was actually. I think that was something else, but I do believe it was him.
It was
Are you gonna grab the link, Natasha? Don't be afraid. Come on up and talk. Ripper doesn't want you to be scared. He wants you to start your channel and do what you gotta do.
He's the one who was pushing Eric Cozy to do his channel back when he started.
Yep.
And he became a real well-known YouTuber in our community and was.
Oh yeah, very missed. Very for sure.
He is very missed.
He was.
And he used to call Ripper Hollywood. No,
yep.
I hated that too. I would tell him, quit calling me Hollywood. And then he'd say, okay, Johnny. I was like, don't call me that either. He said, okay, I won't call you by your name then.
Yeah, I won't call you by your name. Exactly. Oh gosh.
Oh, I don't know how many times I texted him like when I would be on his channel and it'd say Hollywood or whatever. And I'd say, I'd text him, quit calling me Hollywood. And then
so I don't think she wants to join us. She just wants to research.
Okay. All right. That's
if
fine.
you get a channel up, we'll definitely be there to watch what you do.
And we'll support you.
And support you, yeah. Because there's
power in numbers and no need to be scared then.
There is power in numbers. And look, you guys have proved that. Okay. And by the way, if you guys don't know Jinxie, she's been on Dateline.
And Tiger King too, as a little icon and voice.
Yeah. And yes, and these are people who get things done. I mean, Ripper's gotten things done. He's getting something done. I'm very happy to hear about Highland. Really finally getting some results that you need. Maybe make a big change there, because I'm sorry, anybody who claims to have Hitler being a great leader needs to get the hell off of the education bandwagon that she's on, and she needs not be in charge.
Let me say something real quick on that topic. There's already been one lawsuit up there, one federal lawsuit, and the school settled that in less than 6 months with 4 students. So there has been like one victory, but it was a payoff. It was, here, we'll pay you this, go away. Yep. And that's what happened. Then it's business as usual again, but even worse, because if you get away with something, sometimes you think, oh, I can really push the limits now. So,
and they'll just keep paying people off for that, because it's going to be less than a lawsuit, whatever. I believe you said something about they took like a $12,000.
That's yes,
something like that. Something that they probably give to some of these guys to become students there. Briberies. That's what it was. Bribery.
It was 4 students that all got paid between $12,000 and $15,000, which for me wouldn't be enough money.
Nope.
Especially for the.
Does that even cover a semester of college? I mean, come on. How much is college these days? I mean, it's not cheap.
all of these people had scholarships to go there. So so they weren't paying. I mean, they were paying, but like one of them had an academic scholarship.
Right.
One of them had a basketball scholarship. 2 others had football scholarships.
And the one lost his dream.
Right. So they weren't, they didn't have to pay for college, but if I was discriminated against, and I never would be because I'm white in America, like I'm a quarter Native American. I look white. I mean, if I was discriminated against somehow, some way, which I don't know how that would even happen, you couldn't pay me $15,000. I would say whoever was in charge needs to go. Like, I don't care about the money. These people need to go so they don't do it to someone else.
Right.
So there has been a nice victory up there. But what I've learned is after that, things actually got worse. And
that's not good.
No, but it does open up the door for something bigger to happen now, because if things would have settled down, and like these people still be doing it behind the scenes.
Yep.
Just
they want you to be quiet.
Right. But once they got away with it, in my opinion, it seems like they got more aggressive. It was like, we did it before, and all we had to do was pay, $100,000, and it seems like it just made it worse. But I don't think they're going to be able to pay out this time. So, and the 4 students, here's something to remember: the 4 students, one of them was from East St. Louis, a really, really rough neighborhood. His mom told me, I did not want him to come back when he got kicked out of school. I did not want him to come back home because I was worried he would get killed just walking down the street to church, because the neighborhood is so bad. So these are people that if you put $12,000 in front of them, they've never had.
Right.
They've never had $3,000. So imagine $12,000 as a 19-year-old. You're like, oh my gosh, I can live the rest of my life on this.
They think so, yeah.
Yeah. At that age, it's a gigantic amount of money. It really is. So it was an easy payoff and
easy. Now you be quiet, right? But I'm glad nobody's being quiet, because the real change needs to happen with them people losing their jobs and not being able to be in the educational field whatsoever. In my book,
needs to happen. No, that's what needs to happen.
Yep.
If you're abusing your power, you shouldn't be there. You should not be there. And as far as like people being
turning
racist,
a blind eye just to keep somebody there, they're just as guilty in that.
I agree with you 100%. The people that know it's happening and they're not doing anything because they're scared they're going to lose their job. Shame on them.
Exactly. And I'm the type of person, you are too. If it was happening, I would say something. My job wouldn't mean nothing. I would say, screw it. This is just not worth it. I don't even want to work in a place that's going to allow this. I wouldn't want to be affiliated with a place like that, because you're allowing that. It could fall onto you too for knowing it. So just saying, because you're pretending not to know it doesn't mean that it's not happening. And be a better person, make the world a better place. Try to do what you would like done. I see that I'm out of here. I don't want no part of this stuff. I'm out of here, and I'm turning you all in for that shit. So yeah, call me a whistleblower. I definitely would be.
Hey, let me, Stephen said that he does not know how the initial call came in. But he was charged with hitchhiking and obstructing an officer.
Oh, and you don't know how the initial, boy.
No, and that's the thing. Stephen is young and he doesn't know how the justice system works.
Right.
Like, he didn't even know that you could request these dash cams. Like, he wasn't even aware that you could do a FOIA request. And it's for us.
Yeah, secondhand
on these things. We know, like, oh well, go do a records request, get a copy. Like, oh, you can do that? Absolutely. Like,
I think they should teach kids some justice
be giving it to him as part of his discovery, should they not? I mean, he had been arrested or whatever happened that they charged him with. Therefore, he is now, there's now a case, right? He's got to get a lawyer and defend himself. So why aren't they handing over those records right away to him? Why should he have to even ask?
Yeah, that's something a lot of people don't know, that they can't, that they are allowed their own records, their discovery.
That's sad, because that should be like an automatic, here's your discovery from the prosecutor's side of things.
Well, and he doesn't have an attorney.
Yeah.
Does not.
Well, then he should be able to
Ooh.
get the records for himself as he is, defending himself at this point. They should be giving him the information he will need to turn over to an attorney.
Mhm.
That's why he needs help.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
I don't have time. Like, I really don't have time to take it
I'm
on.
not an attorney, but I can definitely say, here's how you write an FOIA, short, simple, and to the point.
Yep.
They might try to charge you an overwhelming amount, which is against the law in Wisconsin, but they don't seem to give a shit.
No.
So can I give him your number?
No. You can give him my Facebook name.
I think Natasha.
I don't like when I get calls from strange people.
I think Natasha is going to jump in on it. I hope she does.
I hope she does too, because she's a deep diver. She goes into a case and she looks at all the aspects too. So, and that's what you really got to do. You got to look at everything, and when you see corruption, say something about it. Don't be afraid. It's better that you stop it while you can, or at least try to stop it, or bring attention to it so it can be stopped. I mean,
Right.
That's what
Let me
I
answer
feel.
this question in the chat. It says, okay, so I'm finally just about caught up. I have a question for Ripper. If he doesn't mind sharing, the Tiger King story went from lighthearted for me to holy shit. Any thoughts on Doc and Don? Yeah, I have lots of thoughts. And one of Don's daughters is in the chat. I saw her in the chat just a little bit ago.
Linda.
Yeah, Linda is in the chat, so she's watching. Yeah, my thoughts are, my opinion, my thoughts are that Don Lewis was murdered, and that that it, and we have a really good idea of where he's at right now. But someone will not cooperate with law enforcement, although they claim they do, but they don't.
I wonder who that could be. Probably don't take a brain surgeon to figure that out.
Yeah, and I will say that episode 2 of season 2 of Tiger King was very upsetting to me and the family, where they tried to make it appear that Don was with these
14, 15-year-old girls. Yeah.
Right. I talked to the lady who lived at the house there. Never, ever did anything like that happen. Don was engaged to a 19-year-old girl over there. Now, he was married to Carol and engaged to a 19-year-old girl over there. But there was never, in the show, they said that there's men lined up outside the house waiting to come in. Never happened. The lady who lived there, her boyfriend was business partners with Don. Never, ever, never happened. When Don would go to Costa Rica, he was working all the time, or he's with his fiance who was 19. Now, one thing about Costa Rica, and this is what they did in season 2, they said that he was with a 15-year-old. I think it was 15. But in Costa Rica, the legal age is 15. The legal age of consent in Costa Rica today is 15, and it was back then. So when they said 15, that was the youngest age they could use and not face a lawsuit in any shape, way, or form, because it wouldn't be illegal. Now, in the United States, it would be.
Mm-hmm.
In Costa Rica, it's not. It's
normal.
Yeah, and I hate to say it's normal, but it is.
Well, it's a culture thing.
You know what else is, if he was engaged to be married to someone else, meaning he was in the process of wanting to divorce his wife, that could be considered, motive for the wife.
Oh, absolutely. And
I think that's what bothered Leave It to Beaver was the age thing, because, I mean, it is very shocking when you see it, but it's very good to know that is not true. And I was going to tell her that, but I thought, well, just come tonight, and I'm sure Ripper will tell you that season 2 was really very upsetting for many reasons. When they said that they found Don and he was hiding in Costa Rica, that is absolutely not true. And there was a lot of things that was said that was really very upsetting.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That was supposedly a tip that actually was never corroborated.
Here's what happened with that. All right. Back in 1997, it was U.S. Customs. In like 2003, I think it's 2003 or 2002, Homeland Security was invented. Right. Homeland Security is over U.S. Customs and all these Border Patrol things. That report that they had, and I have that report, is dated October of 1997. It came from U.S. Customs. Now, on that report, because it was printed at a much later date, it says Homeland Security on the top. So what Carol likes to say is, well, this report has to be from after 2002 because Homeland Security wasn't invented until 2002 or whatever year it was. But that report is from U.S. Customs. It came from a paid informant who got paid money to say that Don Lewis was there. The sheriff's department went to Costa Rica in 1997, talked to the informant. He told them he was paid to say that he saw Don Lewis because he knew that the U.S. Customs people would pay him for information. So he said, oh, yeah, I saw Don Lewis. This was October 1997, would have been just shortly after he went.
A couple months.
But yeah, the sheriff's department went down there. The informant told him, no, I didn't see him, but I knew I could get paid if I gave information. So, and the producers of the show, they knew that. They knew that the informant had been deemed not credible, but they put it in the show anyway because they wanted to create this drama that, oh, he's in Costa Rica having a good time, living a great life, and blah, blah, blah. But they knew that document wasn't worth a thing, but they put it in there because it made good TV when Anne McQueen was reading it, and it's like, oh, I mean, I'd be shocked too if I was reading a document saying my best friend was seen after he went missing.
We know you're only going by what you hear.
It was not. And it was. I don't think it was an insensitive question. It's a good question because they did put it out there in the show, which was trash for them to do. But
he says it right here. It's awful. Cannot.
I wasn't happy with the trash either. Like the whole chicken psychic.
Oh gosh,
that was.
Let's not. Yeah, that right there just kind of went. Whoa.
You know what? when that happened, I was filming, which I should release it someday on my YouTube channel. Maybe in the fall I will, but I was secretly filming from the street. I was in public, so legally in Florida, I can film from the public, but I was standing in the street filming for, 10 minutes when that chicken thing happened. And when the psychic walked down the street down there, and he said he bawled his eyes out down there, but he didn't because I have it all on film. He just went down there and sat. And then once Donna walked down there, he started crying. And I have it all on film. But
another station, somebody's trying to make sensation out of nothing. Trying to make 15.
It's not that I don't believe in psychics, because I do believe there are people who are able to have these sensitives. But some of them are just in it for the entertainment aspect of it, and they don't really know anything, and they use that against some of these
families that are hurting,
that are just trying to get answers. And it's very sad how that
you
happens.
wouldn't believe how many people come after families and the missing just to, I know what this is. Right. And kind of speaking of one that we all knew that was in making a murder, who's now turned into a psychic, won't even say their name, whack, but
wait,
quack, like a quack like a duck. You can't guess quack like a duck in making.
No, Ernie sings about it all the time in the bathtub.
Anyway, Rubber ducky, you're not the one. Anyway,
No
turned
names.
into a psychic. And let me tell you something. She did a totally disrespectful, whatever you want to call it, card reading to a family that is looking for their son. And the things she said on there, I don't know how the terms of service work in YouTube, but the woman should be completely off of the YouTube. It was disgraceful. It was very narrative that is not even there. Okay,
like
it's
graphic,
not there.
Like graphic details? Or?
Yes, extremely graphic.
Is that the one? And then she was wrong, and that was like the kid was found somewhere else with another.
Yes, and now there's one that had the mother happened to be in our chat, Brandy and Neil. Her son is Michael Vaughn, who she's looking for out of Fruitland or Fruitland. Not Oregon, Idaho. Sorry, and he's been missing for almost a year now, and he is abducted child. And she was very graphic about it. And all I can say is, how dare you? And you should be ashamed of yourself. I mean, if you think she pulled things in the Avery case, she went way overboard, way over a line for humanity, as far as I'm concerned. And that's what happens to people when they get these big YouTube channels and they start making money and they think they're all this. No, for me, I don't care if I had 20,000 or 2,000. I'm still going to stay the same because my morals are not for the dollar.
Speaking of, I need to go check mine because I turned my subscriber count off because I got too many people like asking. I think I need to make sure that it's off because there was a time when they're like, hey, who's got more subscribers this was back in the Making a Murderer thing.
Oh, geez. The YouTube wars back in 2016. Oh my God.
I was like, what's it matter? Like, it wouldn't matter if someone had one subscriber or how many, if someone's putting out information that can be helpful. Like, I didn't understand it, so I turned mine off. But someone told me the other day how many subscribers I had, and I was like, how would you know that? But hey, let me finish that question on that. Leave it to Bieber ask about Doc Antle.
Yeah.
I've talked to Doc once and then we text. Now I haven't texted him since he got arrested by the FBI because I know how the FBI works. And if you're texting someone who's under an investigation like that, they'll get your number and they'll get a warrant to get into your phone. So I haven't texted him and it might be too late anyway, but knowing what I know about episode 2 of Tiger King 2 and how they put that stuff together, I'll wait until I see actual trial documents and court documents regarding Doc and the story they told about him, because I just don't know what's true and what's not true in the Doc Antle story. So I don't have enough information to really.
And you were just in for your main thing was episode 3 of Tiger King 1, which was talking about Don Lewis, and you're not into the Joe Exotic and the whole thing there. You just want to find closure for the family, for Don Lewis, for their missing father.
And that's why I'm your number one fan, because you listen to people and you know what people are about.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right. I wasn't in the Joe Exotic stuff. I wasn't in the Doc Antle, the animal stuff. Nothing like
it's a whole entity on its own
about it. And it wasn't related to what we were focusing on. I mean, my focus and everyone's focus was what happened to Don.
Yeah,
like
that's always been your focus. And of course, because of Tiger King and them not just taking that part of it, you got everything, and you got all the Joe Exotic freaks and all the non-freaks of Joe Exotic. I don't want to put them all in a thing, and the animal lovers and the PETA and all that, and it takes away from what you were doing. So it made it really difficult, but you stayed on your path, and
Stayed in
you
our
stayed
lane.
strong for the family. And I highly respect you so much for doing what you do for them. And I look, you're the
I
best.
just feel bad it didn't end in arrest and a body being found, because I believe they deserve that. And I'm
I
with
believe it
her.
too.
I do believe he was murdered and
I do too.
not walking the earth anymore. So
I do too.
it's
I
just
do
a
too.
matter of, partially you say, okay, she's not talking to police or working with police, but at the same time, the police seems like they can also be doing more to investigate things that they choose not to do, which kind of bothers me too. With the sheriff's department out there in Hillsborough County.
Thank you, Beaver. Beaver's a good one. I honestly don't remember whatever came up.
Oh no! What this was a letter that Jeff Lowe received. It wasn't Doc.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jeff Lowe. He's got a good last name, Lowe.
Now, I will tell you that I talked to one of Jeff Lowe's buddies that he had back then, and the buddy told me that that letter did not come in the mail, that was something they put together so they could get some media attention. So they came up with that. Now, when that letter first came out and it was being reported on TMZ or whatever, I don't know. I probably told Jinxie or I told many people, I said, look, if there was actually a letter like that, if someone had information, they're not going to tell Jeff Lowe. Like, Jeff Lowe's not the person to go to for the John Lewis case. I'm like,
he's a flip flopper.
No, like no, that's not who it would have been sent to. I mean,
No.
When I first saw that, I'm like, oh my God, these people will do anything to get attention. I'm like,
Yeah.
That's not who someone that send it to the sheriff's department. They'll send it to, they would have put it in our Facebook group or
Yep.
Send it to the family so the family would know.
Right. Yeah, they're not going to send a letter to Jeff Lowe. The body's under the storage shed. And, and for him to he had his like gloves on, was putting it in a Ziploc bag, and I'm like, dude, come on.
Which is how he handled the whole thing if he's the one who wrote it.
He's an overactor.
Well, he's a good actor. And
anything for publicity, as far as he's concerned, including putting his wife on a stripper pole. So let's get real. If you have that much respect for your wife, then look, you ain't got much respect for anything, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, any man of mine told me get up and strip, baby, because I want the attention. I'd say, well, you know what? Here's your one finger flag, asshole. You get up and do it for yourself, okay? You know what I mean? You got to have a little bit more respect for your loved ones. So it kind of shows his character. I'm sorry.
So you're saying that you don't want a stripper pole for Christmas then? Is that what you're saying?
No, my days of that are over. I used to do that and don't do it no more. Back in the day, but not anymore.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, and I was a little bit more classy than his wife, I'm sure.
Well, that's not saying much.
And you did it for yourself. You didn't do it for your man.
No, I did it to make money, and I made a lot of money.
And you didn't share that money with your man, did you? Because that would have been your money.
It was my money. So, yeah.
Yeah. No,
that's another subject. Let's not get into Linda's past. I don't live there no more.
But it has been part of what who you are now. I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah. Of course. Just everybody's past. Like, like everybody knows I was married to the mob. So for me to see justice done to murderers, I want murderers to be put where they're supposed to be, but I don't want somebody who didn't commit a crime to be in there. I don't. I'm totally against it. So, yeah. I'm against any kind of injustice, actually. It just doesn't matter, and I believe everybody has a voice, and I believe everybody matters, and that's just who I am. That's
so,
who we
Linda,
are.
if you could only work one case right now, which case would it be?
Me?
If you could only work on one.
If I could only work on one case.
If someone said, hey, we're going to do a TV show, but you can only bring one case with you to do the show.
Crystal Rogers.
And what's that case about?
She's already been done, though. I would pick one that hasn't been done.
Well, I mean, them are the cases I know. Okay.
You want to know the case I'd work on? It would be an unsolved murder named Carmen Van House in Indianapolis, 1993. And the reason I picked
Leanne
that
Warner,
case,
Minnesota, missing for over how many years? You know.
Yep.
You know, there's way too many, Ripper. I really don't even know.
And there might be coming an end to the Crystal Rogers case.
Where you could actually
Jessica
help.
Chambers. That is a case that now probably will never be solved because the guy that they had up there for court, and 3 times they had a hung jury. He's dead now, so they probably will never solve that case. I don't know.
So
I really don't know. I don't know of any cases. I can't even say that. There's so many cold cases that I see, and that I'd be like, geez, I want to know what happened, but I don't know. I guess I'd stay on Stephen and Brendan. They're still my number. Brendan is still my number 1 to get out, you know.
Okay, so Brendan would be the case.
Yeah.
Good answer.
I mean, that's who my heart belongs to, you know. I mean, truly, when I seen that, I was so upset that I went way out of my comfort zone and got on the internet. And then I got on to talking, and now I have a YouTube channel. So yeah, it's that case has brought me to the people. So
why did you start a YouTube channel?
Because Eric Cozy said, Linda, you're good with people. I said, well, I don't want to talk about the case because I don't like talking about like that. I want to talk to the people that find the stuff. He said, you do that because nobody else does. That's what I did.
So if Eric would have never started a channel, you wouldn't have done it.
Nope. So it all goes back to you, Ripper.
Yep.
No, that wasn't where I'm getting. But it does like Eric, and I call it Richard.
Yeah.
There's been many people that started channels because Richard started his channel. Like I know of like 3 or 4 people that I really believe if Richard never would have done it, they wouldn't either, because
I wouldn't be here.
Richard showed people that you can be nervous, you can have crazy hair or whatever, and just like not crazy hair. I have to look up the messages I had.
Remember the time when he turned around and bent over and he had like a suit on top and shorts on the bottom, and he gave us the plumber crack view?
Yes. But I used to, when he would tell me he was going to do a video, I'd tease him and say, make sure you got your hair done right. He's like, what's wrong with my hair? So, but I know like 3 or 4 people that had he not gone on there and showed everybody that, you know, you can be scared, you can be nervous, you can be really uncomfortable, but you can do it. Like, it's okay to get in front of this. If you have information that you think needs to be shared, by all means, put it out there. And worst thing that can happen is someone will say, well, that's not correct, or why are you doing this, or blah, 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 or you get sued. Like, that's the worst.
Lucky I've never had any of that
yet.
I've never even had anybody say, why are you doing this? I mean, I've been very lucky as far as the hate goes, because I just talk to people, and what are you gonna say about that, really? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So for anyone out there that is thinking about doing a YouTube channel, just do it.
Just do it. That's right. Do it.
Just do it, because you never know what might come out of it. Like, you might really make a change in someone's life, and you don't have to change the world. Just help one person. If you can just help one person, that's a really good accomplishment.
I agree 100%. You know, I mean, when I first started out, I was just about, hey, let's get these researchers that never get any kind of credit for what they're doing. Let's hear what they're doing. Why are they doing this? Because to me, it takes a special kind of person to take up a lot of your time researching something that has nothing to do with you. You just want it to be done right. And most everybody I've talked to just says, it was something they could not walk away from because it was total injustice, and they wanted to know why they're getting away with it. And I mean, true. Hi, White Rabbit. Nice to see you.
I know everyone's like, a lot of people are like you really bonded with what happened to Brendan. And don't get me wrong, what happened to Brendan put me in pieces too. I was in tears. But the fact that somebody in our country can be wrongfully convicted on 2 separate crimes in one lifetime, that to me is what irks me for the justice, because that should never happen, let alone once. Like, and if you think about it, Brendan could get out tomorrow and be considered exonerated, but in 2 years' time, they can do exactly what they did to Stephen and put him right back in prison on another wrongful conviction and frame job. That should never, ever, ever, ever happen once, let alone twice. So, and that scares me to pieces, because if it can happen once, okay, a mistake may have been happening, but twice, that's a problem.
And it can happen to any one of us. And let you not think it doesn't, because it could. These are simple people from Wisconsin in a small town. And if it wasn't for Making a Murderer, we would not know about them. Okay. And there are so many that don't have documentaries, that don't have a voice to speak for them, and they're wrongfully convicted, and they sit there, or they take a plea deal. Okay. Because they don't have the money to go to court. This is a sad state we live in America, when you cannot defend yourself, when you are considered guilty before you are even in court. Okay. There is no innocent before guilty anymore. And they proved that with Stephen. And that is sad. It is sad that we, the people, have nothing to say about our justice system, when we should have everything to say about it.
Yeah, I quit calling it the justice system and just call it the legal system.
The legal system, what it is. The political system is what it is.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
There's a. Let me just the wrongful conviction stuff. Like, all of us here, we all know it happens. But my wife, Mrs. Ripper, before me. And when I started doing these videos about Making a Murderer, she never thought there was anyone in prison that was innocent. If you're in prison, you're guilty. I mean, that's what she thought. She's like, how could someone be in prison? Like, how would they even be? No, you go to court, you go to trial, all the evidence is put out there. Like, you can't have innocent people. And we're like, yeah, like every 3 out of 100 are innocent.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And finally, of course, she realized it, but before, she had no idea. And the vast majority of people in this country have no idea how many innocent people are behind bars, because there's not enough people making noise about it. Like, you'll hear a little clip, someone exonerated after 27 years of prison, a little story, and that's it. Like, there needs to be more YouTubers out there putting this information out there, that look, I think it's like 3 to 5% of people in prison are innocent. That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's just one is bad. But to have
and instead of going down, it's going up. Okay. So I mean, false confessions are 33% of the reason. Let's think about that. Now you talk about prosecute misconduct. That's another, what is it, 20 some percent. And there's all these things, eyewitness identify, wrong IDs. There are so many things, but luckily with our DNA system and the advancement in that, it does help a lot. It does help a lot, but
let's remember, can DNA be fabricated?
Yes,
it can.
Yes. I was just going to say, but as we all know, Mr. Pencil says, I know that's their DNA, but where did it come from? Of course, we have to stop the corruption. Okay. And that goes with your votes. Like I said, pay attention to who you vote for, because I never thought a vote mattered before. And that is truly what I thought. I really just thought my voice does not matter. I'm not going to vote. It don't matter. It does. It really does. I mean, I know our system's pretty screwed up nowadays, and I really don't want to speak on all the politics of it because it is that screwed up. But if you do your research and get the right judges in, and you vote for the right attorney general, and get the right governors and mayors, and
here's a problem I have with that. Like, I think some of these people might come into their positions with honest look on,
good intentions.
But then when you sit in a position for something like, 20 years, you have a taste for that power of what you can do because you just keep getting voted in. And that's where I think they need to have limitations on how, like, the president only can run twice, right? Like, he can only do 2 consecutive terms. Yeah. So I think there needs to be term limits on some of these people, even judges, even prosecutors. Ken Kratz was a prosecutor since 1992 when he had prosecuted the case against Avery. By 2009, 2010 is when he resigned, I believe. So at that point, he's in a position of power for 17 years. Mm-hmm. That it becomes a problem, in my opinion, because absolute power corrupts, right? So that's what you're giving them when you don't ever have a change in power in those, even in those small towns like Calumet County or Manitowoc.
And it is the small towns that people just like, oh, well, they're not going to know that happened here. And then along comes a documentary crew and shows you that it happens. Yep. And, thank God for them. I really, which has really kind of made a turnover in what we watch on TV. And us sleuths, if you want to call us. I call us truth seekers, but it's made a big difference in the way we look at things.
I call us the Game Chair Sleuthing Incorporated.
Gaming chair detective.
Well, we all got our Google detective certificates. Yep, there's the gaming chair, Ripper Gaming Chair Sleuth, or whatever they call them.
Chair I've ever had in my life.
Yeah,
but think about this: if Making a Murderer doesn't come out, we're not talking right now, right? Like we don't know each other.
We wouldn't exist. Yeah, exactly. We would not exist. Because
here's my question to Ripper about Making a Murderer. Had Making a Murderer come out, and there was a big hype about it right in the beginning. Had the crowdsourcing not happened and all of those records never became public, do you think people would still be here 7 years later? If they had nothing to look at?
Look at what Linda calls you, Ripper, a hero.
Oh, thank you. That's the real Hollywood right there, Linda Sanchez. Yeah.
See,
she's the real Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's my adopted sister.
Yep.
Yeah. See, Carrie, I think, or Jinxie, I think you would have some people still trying to help on the case, but you would not have as many people because you wouldn't need as many people, and people would start doing other things,
other docuseries and stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, if that were the case, then what would have to happen probably is someone would have to be boots on the ground going and questioning all of these people. But instead you have all these documents because the case is closed or over and you have all of this information that you can look into. But yeah, no, I don't think there would have been, if you guys had not got all of these documents, no, there would not be as many people involved because there's nothing to do.
Yep.
There's only a few people would be doing the work and everybody else is like, I'm worthless here. I got to go do something else. And I wonder how much money has been spent on requesting all the records for the Avery case.
Really?
Well, and they're still getting them. Much that there are, if you're requesting a record from the Manitowoc County Courthouse, such as the trial transcripts, however many pages and days that was, for every single page, it was $1.25, no reductions, no waiving of fees. So let's say there was like 30,000 pages for one trial times $1.25. You have
almost $40,000.
Yep.
So that's the importance of being able to
$37,500.
FOIA these records. You should be able to FOIA them for a lot cheaper, which is where I'm at right now with the Manitowoc Sheriff's Department, who wants to charge me $42 for them to email me a scanned copy of paper records, which I think is ridiculous. And so I think that's another thing that we, the people, need to fight for, is cheaper and better access to the Freedom of Information Act so that we can expose. I mean, that's what they do. They expose the lies and stuff of the investigators or the witnesses or whoever is taking pictures. All that stuff is then.
And what evidence goes in, like Ripper knows, by a gun that went over the bridge. I mean, you know, you knew that wasn't the right one, but you knew one of them got him convicted. So how does that happen, right?
That was the murder weapon in the trial. They said this is the murder weapon, but I was like, that's not the murder weapon. Like,
yep. Yeah.
That's not it.
I don't know. Do you remember that quote?
Let's see. Can you say a quote about people using your past, not your present? Okay. So we were talking about the trolls, and I said, if that's what they got to do to you, take it as a compliment. If they can only find things in your past to use against you, that's a pretty big compliment, that they can't dog you for your present, that they have to go back years and years to dig up dirt on you.
Yep.
I don't remember exactly.
That's pretty much what you said.
You'll have to rewind it and re-listen.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a compliment when people can't find anything to use against you as of recent. They have to go back to, like in my case, when they came after me, like they had to go back to 2015.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it has nothing to do with
what you're doing.
What I'm doing now. Yes. And like my divorce that took 4.5 years for me to go through, like 15 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Going through that divorce, a divorce should not take 4.5 years, but that's how
we had hell.
Me, because I was fighting for 50% custody of my 2 girls. That's all I wanted, was 50% custody. It took me 4.5 years to get it. But after I went through that, that's one of the reasons I wanted to help people that needed help. Like you said earlier, the things that happened to us in our past make us who we are today. But me going through that stuff gives me a pretty damn big fire for helping other people that I see that are being attacked by the legal system, or just like the Don Lewis family. You know, I would get asked, why are you trying to help them? They haven't been, like they're not victims of the justice system.
Yes, they are.
Like, they absolutely are.
Yes, they are.
They are, because the justice system did not work for them. It should have been an easy case.
Yeah.
It should have been so easy.
I hear that a lot about if Ellie would have done their job to begin with, especially in some of these missing person cases, they would have been solved a lot sooner if they would have done their job.
Here's one that blows my mind, Linda. The notary, the housekeeper for Don Lewis. The housekeeper was a full-time housekeeper. She worked there 40 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
Her name, she notarized the will and the power of attorney. Well, her name was on there and her notary. Guess who the first person was to question her about the Don Lewis case? Guess who the first person? Yes. 22 years.
Law enforcement did it. 20 years later.
They never talked to the housekeeper. Like, they could have said, my gosh, if someone's there cleaning the house, did you clean up any blood? Broken glass anywhere? Did signs of a struggle? How do they not talk to the house.
How did they get on when she was around and they were both together? Like those questions could be asked too, just to see what the relationship was like between the two of them.
Victimology.
As an outsider looking in, but nope.
Victimology should be used on every
let's
single
remember
case.
that Carol's brother was an actual officer for the department at the time of this case.
Right.
So when you have that brotherhood of blue or whatever they want to call it, they're willing to protect their own.
Yes.
This is a perfect case of that, in my opinion.
Yep.
Oh, I agree with
Avery, and
I agree. I think that's part of it, and the other part was Carol fed them a story that he left to go to Costa Rica. He's on his own, like he's.
But let's remember that there was an incident in the night that happened that was Carol was with her brother on the road on Sheldon Road when another call came in for a burglary that he basically said, "I'm busy right now, please send someone else." And then somebody must have caught him on the road with Carol because they end up having to drive her home and he ends up at the burglary, which then alibied him for some reason, which I don't believe should have been his alibi. And who was the one alibying him with that ridiculous story? None other than the sheriff of Hillsborough County.
Gotta look where it comes from, right? You know, like
protecting his own. There's no way he could be involved with that. I mean, he's a man in blue. He's not they forget there's the bond of real blood right there.
Yeah. Well, in Stephen's case, all of them were looking out for each other, you know, and that's what they end up doing.
They were looking out for themselves and the taxpayers. They wanted to save the taxpayers.
Oh yeah, the taxpayers really want the wrong person in jail and the right perpetrator running around killing people, because that's, I'm sorry, I don't know who did it.
Obviously, they
never will.
Gregory Allen was out for 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
That he was doing to women,
and he didn't only do it in Minnesota. He did it in Minnesota too, and in other states.
There's a case where he might be involved in a murder of a young girl in North Carolina that they haven't quite figured out that case yet.
There's a lot. It goes on. Hi, Mark. Nice to see you.
And they knew about it. Yeah. The department, the sheriff's department had a report about that prior to this incident with Penny, and yet they totally.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not down on all law enforcement. I think there's a lot of law enforcement that does a great job.
There is, absolutely.
There is. But
absolutely.
There are those ones that make these things here go, how did they get away with that? And why are they still allowed to be in office? Why are they still allowed to be in charge? Why are they allowed to make laws and then break their own law? And nobody says anything. That is like, hello. Okay, biological. Their law for biological evidence. They broke.
Retaliated against. I mean, I get it. It's like I don't like going up to certain parts of Kansas because I know that law enforcement there, they'll find anything to pull me over.
Yeah,
because I called them out on stuff. Like, so I get it, but at the same time, like even if you do it as an anonymous person, like you have to speak out against these injustices that are going on out there.
Or you're just as culpable as they are, as far as I'm concerned. Don't turn a blind eye, because you never know. Because guess what? It could happen to any single one of us, no matter what.
The truth is the fact that even when they see it, you have cases like, let's say Daniel Holtzclaw, who is a cop and is wrongfully convicted. So I get in a sense why they would be scared, because it could happen to Stephen Avery, but it could also happen to them as an officer as well. Scott Bladorn's relative was an officer and was wrongfully convicted in the 80s or 70s and released. So it does happen to cops too. Okay.
Why did they go after Daniel? What did they
That's the thing I would like to know. I think that's what's missing. I think maybe, but it might not be missing. It might just simply be because it was a time of, there was a lot of things going on within the
Ferguson thing going on, the riots,
and being racist or whatever it was, that this was an opportunity for them to
take a white cop down for America.
Of course.
To ease tensions.
Yep.
And that might be their.
I think so too. I think it was because of the Black Lives Matter, the riots going on. That town did not want to see it by letting him go. And I'm sorry, but Blinky, she's a terrible human being, and she should have never been a detective. Okay, and Mr. Rocky, right? I call him Rocky and Blinky. Okay, both of them, a disgrace to that field. Okay, I mean, a total disgrace. They didn't even handle evidence correctly. Okay, so I mean, if you can't even do your job that far, and you are saying, okay, yeah, that sounds good, like a good story. Sure, yeah, that's good. You know, there's something wrong with allowing that kind of stuff to go in, and there are people that are in charge of them people for them to allow that kind of stuff to happen. It's a trickle down, a trickle up effect, and it is no good, and you need to stop it somewhere along the line, or at least speak up if you can't.
And on that point, they need to end immunity for these people who are supposed to be upholding laws, and they're the ones breaking the laws.
Truth in sentencing.
It should be twice convicted, in my opinion, because they are worse than just an average person who doesn't really know the law, breaking the law. This is a person meant to uphold the law and help in the system, and they're breaking the law. Therefore, no more immunity, double time. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't understand why they get qualified immunity. However,
we don't have that here.
Oh, you don't? Not
nope.
There? I know in some states, if you are ready to be like wrongfully arrested, you actually have to tell the officer what law it is that they are getting ready to violate against you. Like in Texas, for instance, if they arrest you for failure to ID, like that's statute 3802 in the Texas Penal Code. But if you don't say 3802 says I don't have to show ID unless I'm arrested. If you arrest me for failure to ID when I haven't committed another crime, then you're violating my civil rights. You have to explain it to them like that. And then
how many people know that?
The fact is the cops don't even know the laws that they're supposed to be.
Right.
Yep. See, in Minnesota, we try to say nobody above the law.
As a citizen, then that's not their fault. It's your fault, because you should not be ignorant of the crazy ass system that you are supposed to somehow understand, which is why we hire lawyers to understand it for us. So it really is a catch-22 in a way.
You're right. You get in trouble for being ignorant of the law, but they have qualified immunity, so they're not held accountable for it.
Right.
Qualified immunity. Unless you can state the law to them as they're doing it to you, which
the normal person does not know that. I mean, we like to say nobody above the law here in Minnesota, and we do prosecute when things like that happen. It doesn't matter. You're going to go to jail. The cops, the lawyers, prosecutors, you're doing that shit, you're going to jail. But we also have corruption too. Come on. Look at, it's everywhere, but we try. And I wish more states would not have that umbrella thing over, especially prosecutors, when they let shoddy shit go through.
Right. If you're a prosecutor, like you should be doing everything by the book. Like you don't need that cushion. Like if you're deliberately doing something like withholding evidence, like storing evidence, or this cop has it in his drawer
for 11 years speaking.
That stuff you shouldn't have qualified immunity on that. I understand if it's like an innocent mistake, but some things are so deliberate. Like Harry Connick Jr.'s dad, he's the worst of the worst in the wrongful convictions. He's got the worst record of anybody. I don't know if you guys want to do some research, go research all the wrongful convictions that Harry Connick Jr.'s dad did as a prosecutor in Louisiana. He's number one. It didn't matter. It's bad.
Well, they just let this, I believe it is Illinois. They just let out a bunch of people at the beginning of August because of that cop that was giving false evidence and all this other stuff. And
could not let the lawsuit
Yeah.
go. Stephen Avery, because him winning a lawsuit like that or them finding any wrongdoing would have turned over any cases that Volvo may have prosecuted. So they couldn't have that, and that's why he's in prison again.
And some of them people were on death row that got let out. Okay. How about that man that was 47 years wrongfully convicted? Okay. Can you imagine coming out and having everything you've ever known to not be the same? I mean, I can't imagine.
About that is scary as hell. Is these prosecutors that do this? They then let out all of these people who were ever prosecuted under this cops as a witness or this lab as a, you know, they had to do that with the scandal up in what was that, Massachusetts, when the labs were doing.
Oh yeah, for the drug. Yep.
So some of those people may actually be guilty that are now being released because a prosecutor or a witness felt the need to lie about one or two cases because what they wanted was a conviction and not the actual truth and true justice.
That's right.
So then all of these cases get thrown out. So now you may actually be releasing, and there's no fault of anyone but the people who are in power. The cop who lied, the lab technicians who falsify their lab reports, the prosecutors who go and taint jury pools by press conferences. All of them are the ones who are
if you got any kids in here,
still don't get arrested.
No, there's no kids. There's no kids in here.
I think that's why Kathleen Zellner in her latest filing gave the county a way out. Like, she's giving them a way out. So if it does get overturned, they're like, look, it wasn't us. It wasn't, we didn't plan anything. It wasn't us. Like, she's given them a way out so they can jump on this, and then they won't have to go back and release all of these other people in these other cases. I think she's given them a really good deal and an opportunity to be like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it, because if we do it this way, we're off the hook. It's going to be someone else getting blamed for it. I think,
but at the same time, they're taking a risk by allowing it to happen, because technically she only has to say this stuff to get into a trial. If the trial is retried, she might actually bring in evidence that shows that the cops actually did plant evidence.
Well, we know they held on to
nothing to turn your little blind eye at. And for the bullet. I mean,
don't tell them that, Jinxie.
I can't help it. I have to see it from both sides, and I see it that way. It's like, it sucks, but at the same time, I see what she's doing. But what I think should happen is be like Uyghur should be like, well, you know, we never got this disc from Manitowoc, so it's all Manitowoc's fault, so that they can get out of a lawsuit.
Pass it back and forth.
On each other.
No,
yeah, I think
I would say it's Jinxie's fault.
Yeah, make it Jinxie's fault.
It's Jinxie's fault.
I was only
give me all the documents.
I have to say, this is probably one of my best lives I've ever done. I mean, I honestly really loved all this conversation. We've touched on so many different things. We got to see who Ripper is, you know, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted you guys to see what a great human being he is, and that there are people out there that do this for reasons other than fame or a name, you know, because like I've said many times, you could take my face, my name away from it and just push my message through, and that's all that matters, right? I mean, for all of us, I think we feel that way.
You know me, I like things on the information highway so people can see things for themselves and come to their own conclusions on what they think, what they see. You know.
Yep.
Well, it's been fun and very nice. And I thought you were kidding when you invited me onto your channel like a year ago or whenever. She's never gonna let me come on her channel. Like, she's just teasing me. She doesn't mean it.
And I was saying, he's just teasing. He's not gonna come on.
Any place, anytime. I'm like, just let me know when, I'll be there. I love what you do and what you stand for. And
thank you.
I love the fact that you started a channel because it needed to be done, and there was stories that you could tell to help people, and not because you wanted to become famous or you just wanted to get things out there so that people could see. And you also wanted to let these other people that don't have channels, that are researchers, tell their story for once, which I really think is a really good thing and a good idea, that like, it makes me want to do what you do. Like maybe in the fall, I'll launch a podcast where I'm just interviewing people from all different walks of life.
There you go. I did it because I was curious about who are the people that are making this happen, you know? And I've met so many great people. So I know there's a lot of internet hate. People get it out there. I've seen it. I've seen it with my friends right here, but I'm very fortunate. I haven't, I hope me saying that doesn't put me there, but I will handle it just like I did anything else. I'm not going to feed it. I'm not going to feed it. And anybody out there who's got a voice, who has something they have to say, start a channel and be a voice, because we need good people.
No, I started a channel.
That's right, Jinx, you know.
I started it because I was annoyed with the misinformation coming out from another channel that was just kept being spread over and over and over again. That's been cleared up about, you know, people being related. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to put out a little thing. And then when people come to ask me, I can just show them that. And I don't have to explain it 50,000 times.
All you have to do is tell me. I would have taken the video down.
Yeah. But I love both these people on here. If you guys haven't subbed to their channels, go look at it. Ripper's on hiatus for a while doing his thing, but I'm sure he'll be back.
In the fall, I'll be back.
Yes.
It's 9/8, which means you have about 2 weeks before it's fall.
It'd be like November.
Okay.
November is when Ripper's Ramblings podcast will launch.
I will be the first to subscribe to that. I'll tell you what. I support you 100%. Thank you so much, Jinx, for coming up and talking. And Ripper, thank you so much for being on my channel. I really, really appreciate it. I'm always going to be a fan. So
I'm honored to be on your channel. And anytime you want me here, let me know.
I will.
I don't say this lightly. Like, I really like what you do. I really do. I'm impressed with how far you've come from when you first started. So I think it's commendable to
thank you very much.
Do that stuff.
I will take that high compliment and run with it for the rest of my life.
And tell Arctic Fox, thanks for jumping on here as well.
All right, guys. You guys sub up to these guys' channel. I'm going to play my fancy exit, and I'm going to be out of here. Thank you, you guys. Have a great night.
Everybody. I'm out.
It's Ripper, and he's out.
Thank you, Linda.
We're all out.
Thank you.
Bye, Carrie.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change. Play the game that we say. I need a break. I'm staying strong. Need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. I'm staying strong. Need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on.